Okay, so can you actually hook up with an OnlyFans model? It's pretty much the ultimate modern internet fantasy question right now, isn't it? Millions of guys are logging on every single day, scrolling through perfectly curated feeds, paying for direct messages, and wondering, is there actually a real chance to turn this digital parasocial relationship into an in-person, physical reality? Well, today, we are stripping away the memes, the rumors, and the wild Reddit threads to look at the cold, unvarnished facts of the 2026 creator economy.
But right out of the gate, we've got to hit you with a pretty brutal reality check from the source material. If you are approaching this without serious financial resources, the advice is literally, forget it, keep dreaming, close this chapter, and move on. This entire ecosystem is fundamentally transactional at its core. No money, no chance.
So in today's explainer, we're not treating this like some dating advice column. We are looking at it as a highly structured economic analysis of modern parasocial relationships. We're going to demystify the fantasy by breaking down the exact systems, the sky-high costs, and the serious risks involved in the premium creator market today.
All right, let's look at the roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll size up the 2026 creator economy. Then, we dive into how the attention market actually works. From there, we open up the financial playbook, navigate the serious mutual risks, and finally, wrap it all up with the final verdict.
Okay, Section 1. The 2026 creator economy and the massive scale of modern adult content platforms.
To put things into perspective right away, we're talking about 4.6 to 5 million active creators on OnlyFans alone in 2026. 5 million! This isn't just some niche corner of the internet anymore, it is a global behemoth with hundreds of millions of fan accounts. When you send a message, you are quite literally a single drop in an absolute ocean. And that perfectly illustrates why these models are so incredibly inaccessible to the average person.
And, the economics here are just ruthlessly top-heavy. Yes, there are billions in annual payouts across the board, but the top 1%, and honestly, mostly the top 0.1%, they're capturing the vast majority of that money. The median creator, she's just scraping by on a few $100 a month after the platform takes its cut. The absolute biggest takeaway here is that this is not a dating pool. Most models are incredibly savvy businesswomen treating this like a serious job. It's highly intimate, performative, and deeply exhausting work. They compartmentalize their lives, big time.
Which brings us right into Section 2, the attention market, and exactly why your DMs are being completely ignored.
So, the first massive hurdle? Direct on-platform meetups are strictly prohibited. Even discussing linking up can get an account banned instantly. On top of that, the competition is just insane. Top earners are getting flooded with hundreds of messages every single day, which forces them to filter ruthlessly. To protect their own mental health and their brand, most creators have to view fans strictly as customers, no exceptions. So, realistically, if you've got average looks and average money, your odds are near absolute zero. The only guys breaking through this noise and getting priority are the whales, the massive spanders who make themselves impossible to ignore.
And that leads us to the proven path for those whales. You can't just cold DM someone begging to meet. That is total amateur hour. Step 1 is you have to subscribe and tip big, right away personalizing your messages so you aren't just a faceless account. Step 2, you're ordering expensive custom content just to build rapport within the platform's rules. Step 3 is absolutely crucial. Maintain volume and consistency. Dropping one huge tip just looks desperate, but reliably spending over weeks and months, that gets you noticed. And finally, step 4, wait for the off-platform transition. After a lot of spending, they might share a secure contact like Telegram, but you never push it, you let them initiate.
All right, let's open up Section 3, the financial playbook. This is where we get into the exact costs of this ultimate reality check. Because the sheer scale of investment required just to play the game is honestly mind-blowing. Just look at the entry level. You're dropping $1,000 to $5,000 a month for 1 to 3 months just to get basic notice. Bump that up to mid-tier access. That's a $10,000 minimum total investment for things like a virtual girlfriend experience and maybe, just maybe, a rare chance at an in-person meet. And for real hookups, the costs are completely variable and extreme. You're dealing with massive barriers, sometimes 6-figure finder's fees, plus you're footing the bill for luxury flights, top-tier hotels, and strict NDAs.
I mean, listen to this quote. Fans are dropping $10,000 to over $100,000 just for attention, customs, or rare real-world access. There was even a model offering a $100,000 bounty just for husband recommendations. Think about that for a second. If you are trying to pursue this, you are not competing against average guys swiping on an app.
You are going head-to-head against massive coordinated wealth. Moving right along to Section 4, navigating the risks and the hidden dangers on both sides of the screen. Because beneath all the fantasy and the flashy numbers, there are some very severe hidden dangers here. On your side, the consumer side, you're facing potential scams, fake profiles, and even blackmail, considering they literally have your payment info. Plus, there's a serious legal risk. Arranging paid intimacy gets dangerously close to prostitution charges. Add in the physical risks and the heavy emotional toll of realizing this whole thing is totally one-sided. But then, look at her risks. Creators face some truly terrifying stuff: stalking, doxing, and severe security leaks. Burnout and harassment are rampant in this industry. Even despite the money, high earners frequently talk about the extreme loneliness and the heavy mental health toll this work takes. And because of those intense risks, discovering models off-platform is incredibly complex. If someone is trying to do this ethically, they usually find models through X hashtags like OnlyFans collab or at real-world fan expos. The approach has to be completely framed around mutual value, like offering luxury travel or unique experiences without sounding like a John. You also have to expect ironclad NDAs at the highest levels. And again, you really have to tread carefully because paying directly for an arrangement seriously risks crossing the line into illegal escort territory.
And that brings us to Section 5, the final verdict, separating romance from the market.
If you take away absolutely nothing else from this entire explainer, please remember this sobering statement. Treat it as adult entertainment with potential extras, not romance. At the end of the day, this is a highly optimized market transaction. It rewards absolute clarity, not fairy tales.
So here's the deal. Can you engineer a high probability of a meetup? Sure. But it is massive emotional, financial, and logistical work. The successful few who actually pull this off combine insane generosity with extreme patience, discretion, and a heavy dose of realism. And even then, a lot of these real-world hookups, they're just one-off content collaborations. Actually dating an active model long-term is a whole different beast. It's notorious for public perception issues, jealousy, and huge lifestyle mismatches. Bottom line, if you don't have serious, disposable funds, you should absolutely stick to traditional dating.
The market has spoken, guys. And look, it's not a judgment on anyone. It's literally just the cold, hard math of the attention economy. So I'll leave you with this final thought to really chew on. Are you genuinely willing to pay the massive financial and emotional price of the 2026 creator economy? Or is it time to save your cash, protect your peace, and just log off? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this gave you the clarity you need.